Hi geographers, and welcome to the latest video of the CVA Geography YouTube channel. Today looking at the Somerset Levels flood of 2013 and 14. What I want you to do first is to just pause the video here, write down the title and complete the do now. Thank you. Right, let's go through the answers. Number 1 is 800,000. Number 2 is 200 people. Number 3 is 9,000. Number 4 is 2. Number 5 is the plates slide past each other. Number 6 is 27. Number 7 is markets for local farmers. And number 8 is 6 million. Right, so today we're looking at an example of a recent extreme weather event, and we're looking at the Somerset Levels flood of 2013-14. Just got 3 keywords for you to write down. So saturated ground is when the soil is full of water and can absorb no more. Dredging is the digging out of silt at the bottom of a river, making the river deeper so it holds more water. And impermeable surface is any surface that does not allow water to pass through it. So let's crack on. Somerset Levels floods. Flooded in 2013 to 2014, and we're going to look at the causes, impacts and management strategies of it. What we can see here is just a map of Somerset in southwest England, and flooding is common in Somerset. We can see that it is very low-lying flat land, and we can see multiple rivers within the area. Again, there's just some idea to show you that Somerset Levels and areas underwater is a very low-lying flat land. So what we're going to do is talk through 4 causes of the floods. We've got heavy rainfall, saturated ground, the fact it's low-lying, and the rivers not being dredged. So, what we can see here is the worst flooding occurred in December to February 2013 and 14, and this was due to Somerset experiencing 3 times higher average rainfall for those months. This meant the soil was saturated. And what this means is where the soil is saturated, water can no longer absorb into the soil, so the water itself, there's more surface runoff with the water flowing into rivers, so the rivers will exceed their carrying capacity and flood. In addition, with the heavy rainfall, what that meant is there was more water inside the drainage basin, leading to more surface runoff of water going to the river. Again, the river will burst its bank and flood. Another physical cause of the Somerset Levels floods was the very flat relief, the very flat land. This means that when the rain falls on the flat, low-lying land, it slows down surface runoff. The water doesn't run off the land and go into the river, which means after heavy rainfall, this water will just obviously sit on the land, and that will increase the risk of flooding. And a human cause of the Somerset Level floods was the rivers hadn't been dredged for 20 years. This means that there was lots of silt deposited on the riverbed, which meant the river had a lower carrying capacity. It could not hold as much water, which means when there was heavy rainfall, the river couldn't hold all the rain, so it burst its banks and flooded. Right, so what we need to do now is just to write down the 4 causes of flooding, A, B, C and D. We need to label them as either human or physical. There's only 1 physical, and there's 1 human and 3 physical. And I want you to explain how they lead to flooding. If you're not sure how to do this means, which means, please rewind the video and double check any explanations that I went through. Brilliant. Awesome. Well done, guys. Let's crack on. Hopefully check that you got the same sort of answers as me. So heavy rainfall, dredging, saturated ground, and the low-lying flat areas. Just double check your answers. Make sure your chains of reason are the same. So now we've looked at the causes of the flood, we need to look at the impacts. What impacted this flooding in 2013 and 14 for Somerset? So it's estimated that around 10% of Somerset was underwater. Somerset Levels were underwater during this period, and it had huge social, economic and environmental impacts for the region. Okay, I'm going to talk through some of the social impacts first. We've got homes flooded, 600 homes were flooded. This means insurance companies will have to pay out for repairs, which means the people that live in the homes will see their insurance bills increase, in the future years, meaning they'll have less disposable income. Transport links were cut off. Villages were completely cut off by the flood for 2 months. This meant people could not access work, could not access shops, which means that people might lose out financially from lack of wages, but also may not be able to buy the necessities needed. We also had evacuations. Hundreds of people were evacuated for several weeks after the event, and this meant again people might not be able to access their work in the village or town they live in, so therefore could lose out financially. The economic impacts of the flood. There was a large cost of damage. The total cost of damage was £80 million. What this means is the local council will have to pay for repairs of infrastructure, which means there'll be less money available for investment in public services like schools and hospitals within Somerset. And then we've got the environmental impact of the Somerset level floods, and we've got around 11,500 hectares of farmland were destroyed. This means that the yield of farmers will go down, which means the UK will be at a food deficit, so we have to import more food to the UK, meaning that food prices will start to increase. And then we need to think, how is this flood risk being managed? So there's different there's different strategies used. Hundreds of people were evacuated. This meant people were out of harm's way of the flood, therefore less people died or were injured. People were given sandbags to protect their homes, so you can see in figure 9 that sandbags are placed in front of doorways. This means that any flood water could not enter the lower levels of houses, which means there is a lower economic damage from the flood. The government in the long term is also planning now, and they've set up a 20-year plan to reduce the risk of flooding in the area, and they're going to spend around £100 million on this. This is going to include regular dredging of the rivers Parrett and Tone, so this means that they'll regularly dredge out the silt from the riverbed, which means the river's carrying capacity increases so it can hold more water, which means there is a lower chance of flooding. They're going to widen the River Sowie, so by widening the river, again it means the carrying capacity increases, reducing the chance of flooding. And several temporary pumping stations have been converted into permanent ones, which means if there's need to pump out water during the flood, water can be removed from the area, reducing the risk of damage to homes and businesses. So, what I've got for you is a little worksheet with 8 statements on. I want you to write out each of the 8 statements and categorise them impacts or responses. I want you to categorise the impacts into social, economic or environmental as well. And then I want you to explain, double develop the sentences for each impact and response. Pause the video here, have a go. Brilliant. Oh, I should have said, there's a model, guys, as well. Please unpause the video, watch that, and then pause it now. Crack on. Brilliant, well done. Did you get anything similar to me? So please take this moment to read through my chains of reason, read through your chains of reason, and if the chains of reason are very different, please do change yours so they resemble my ones. Brilliant, well done, guys. Now we're going to move into the blue zone. So figure 18, a news article outlining the responses to the Somerset level floods. I'll allow you to read that in your own time, but you need to use that in any exam questions which reference the figure. And we've got the picture there of the dredging. So use figure 18 in your own understanding. Number 1, list 2 strategies that occurred before the floods. Number 2, explain 2 ways how the action plan will reduce the impacts of the flood. And with reference to a named example, evaluate the impact of extreme weather in the UK. So question 1 and 2, you need to use the figure. Question 3, you need to use the sheet you've just done to look at 2 impacts and think which one is worse. So there's a success criteria for you for question 3. I'll let you pause the video now, guys, and good luck. Brilliant, well done. Hopefully your answers look something like this. Please pause the video and mark your answers. And then here's an answer you could have used for the last one. Thank you for listening and completing the work. Please bring in any work to your teacher to mark. Have a great day.